Hi everybody, I hope you're well. I didn't think I'd be having to do a remote learning update so soon, but thanks to Boris on the announcement, this is the position where we're at. So I just thought I'd accompany my email and the updated timetable with a very quick presentation just to talk you through some of the minor changes that you might have noticed or seen. I'd just like to start by saying thank you. The engagement in live lessons has been consistently high. Students have been attending the lessons, engaging, doing the work. It's just been fantastic. So thank you for all your support you've been giving to your children in order to engage in those live lessons. The feedback you've given us over these past few days has really helped to develop our provision. Clearly, we see it from a teacher's point of view, and although we can test and trial things, until we get it up and running, we don't really know what those hiccups are going to be. So the emails have really helped us just to tweak a few settings, press a few buttons, which I hope have helped. And finally, thanks so much for your messages of support, and it's really provided a boost for all staff. I think it's worth acknowledging the efforts of the teachers at St John Horton. You've got to remember, on Sunday, we did not have Microsoft Teams up and running. By Wednesday, I think we delivered about 185 live online lessons that teachers have never been trained for. And so they're adapting really quickly. We're learning all the time. And so thank you for your support and acknowledgement and that. Now, moving forward, I know a lot of you have asked for support with technology and laptops, and there's a team, Ms. Spodis, Mr. Warden, the IT support are working exceptionally hard to get those laptops up and running with the right paperwork and the right settings. And I know some staff have been delivering those to homes over the past few days. So thank you to the staff there. And I hope if your name is on that list, that we'll get to those to you as soon as possible. We've had to make some amendments to the live lesson timetable, and I'm going to talk you through those in a moment. They're not massive from a student-facing point of view, but I just wanted to tell you what's happening in the background. So if you did see any small tweaks, that you know what's going on. We're looking to develop the TA support that we're able to give in live lessons by utilising the breakout rooms function a little bit more. Like I said, we're learning all the time, but moving forward over the next week or so, we're hoping to be able to support some more of our SEN students within the live lessons. We're also exploring how to best to give feedback to students. Now, in the live lesson format, it lends itself to that immediate feedback, that verbal feedback, which I hope your students are getting all the time now. It's just about, if they're submitting work, what does feedback look like? It won't look like normal. It won't be at the quantities of normal, but what does that look like? And we're exploring the assignment section in Microsoft Teams to be able to do that. I know some teachers and students have already been trialing that for us. And the final thing we're going to be doing moving forward, Mr. Brogan is very keen that we continue to acknowledge the hard work of all students. And so I imagine what he'll be announcing is that that roll call that usually happens in the Friday update will continue as of next week. So some of you might be asking, well, why do we need to make amendments? It's worked so well this week. My child's been getting on with it. Why change anything? So the answer to that question is that the structure of those live lessons were created on the assumption that students would be out of school for a short period of time, that students would be returning in a staggered manner, and that Year 11 would be on site from Monday the 11th. The context we find ourselves in now is very different to that. And therefore, we just need to make small amendments to the structure to make sure that it is more sustainable and that we're able to deliver what we need to deliver to your child. And that next bullet point there talks about how, as a school, we need to be sustainable in fulfilling our requirements for the live lessons, our requirements to supervise the key worker and vulnerable students, our requirements on all aspects that the Department for Education are asking us to do. Most amendments, like I said, will happen behind the scenes to settings and teams and groups and things like that, and won't have a massive impact on your child's day. It certainly won't have an impact on the provision, the quantity of live lessons that we will be delivering. Just so you're aware, I think it's useful as part of our school community, you know where we're coming from. Our guiding principles for any changes that we're making at the minute is to continue to deliver high quality education for all students in line with the DfE expectations, and actually above the DfE expectations, with a view that we need to make sure that the learning is seamlessly transitioned back into school life whenever that may be. And so what we're keen to do is to continue following our planned curriculum as closely as possible, adapting it to the needs of this online situation that we find ourselves in. Mr. Brogan, and it is very keen for teachers to be delivering live lessons to their classes. We did talk about combining or collapsing groups, but actually we thought the best offer we could deliver for the students at St John Horton was to have their teachers in front of them in their classes. We're also working in blocks of time, and that's more behind the scenes to ensure that we're able to sustainably support both students in school and outside of school. So what does this mean for your child? Like I said, in reality, not much. You may notice that we are cancelling, rescheduling or rearranging some live lessons. So you might be getting a few notifications about things going on in the background. The reason for that is because we're shifting to a model whereby you will have most of your core lessons, so that's English, Maths, Science and RE in the morning, so that's period 1, 2 or 3, and the non-core subjects in the afternoon, period 3, 4 and 5. Now what that does mean is that your child's day may not follow a daily pattern of lessons like it has been. So for example, you might have noticed this week they've had a lesson period 1, 3 and 4 on Monday, 1, 3 and 4 on Tuesday, and that pattern continued. Now in this model, we're not able to provide that. We don't, speaking to some parents, think that's going to be a massive issue because you're becoming more au fait with the Microsoft Teams calendar. So in essence, if it's in your calendar, it's happening. We will still give you the PDF version of the timetable as well to help you plan your week. But just to let you know that it may not follow a daily pattern of lessons, but over the 2-week timetable, you will be getting everything that you need to be getting. The other thing to note is if you don't have your live lessons, of course, we're still setting work on Satchel 1 or even through Microsoft Teams. So there is work and learning for every lesson of your child's day. The final thing I just wanted to touch on is some common themes that are coming through from feedback from parents. And the chat box feature seems to be a sticking point for some people. Some parents and students are reporting that they cannot access it. Now, at times, this may be because the teacher has disabled the chat feature. One of the reasons we went to meetings was for that interactivity, so that verbal interactivity and the written interactivity. But in some cases, teachers feel it is most appropriate to have that chat feature disabled. And two of the reasons that are coming through is, one, the behaviour of a real minority of students has not been appropriate. And so we're continuing, as we said we would, with our behaviour policy. Those students' parents have been contacted, and if need be, they're removed from the lesson if they're disrupting it to a significant degree. The other thing is when teachers are sharing their screen, they cannot always see the chat box. So actually, they might be making a judgment call to say that actually, because I can't see the chat box, I'm going to disable it for that lesson. And that will be on a teacher by teacher basis. But we're very keen for that interactivity, verbal or written, to be utilised. Some of you, and this again is a real minority, some of you are saying that timings of lessons are wrong or don't match the PDF timetable sent out. Now, what I'd say is while we're getting settled down, and I think we're almost there, is the golden rule is if it's in your Microsoft Teams calendar, then that lesson should be going ahead. If it has been a mistake made, and we're all human, we're getting to grips with the technology as well. Teachers have never used Microsoft Teams in this format before. If we have made a mistake and 2 lessons are scheduled for the same time, then my advice would be to follow your normal school timetable. So whichever lesson you should have had at that time in school is the lesson that I'd advise you to go to, because it's the one that's going to be most likely going ahead for you. But again, anything else, please do get in touch. Thank you for engaging. Please continue to do so. And I'm really looking forward to how this pans out over the next 2 or 3 weeks. Thank you very much.